Ask 10 cruisers to rank the Caribbean's most popular ports, and you'll get 10 completely different lists. Some people swear by Cozumel, others avoid Nassau at all costs. And there are a few ports that I think deserve way more love than they get. So today, I'm ranking the most popular Caribbean cruise ports from worst to best. And I suspect some of you are going to have some feelings about where a few of these landed. Oh, and if we haven't met yet, I'm Evan from Family at Sea. If this is your first time watching my channel, I'm glad you're here. And if you've been here a while, you already know how much I appreciate you. If you're ready, I am. Let's go. Before we jump in, some quick ground rules. These are my personal rankings based on what I enjoy most in a cruise port. So there's a very good chance that your list looks completely different than mine. And that's okay. In fact, feel free to tell me just how wrong I am in the comments below. I also know there's plenty of great Caribbean ports that aren't on this list, but I limited it to the most popular ports based on annual cruise visitors, and I left private islands out entirely. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. Coming in at the very bottom of my list is Belize, and this is a port that I really want to like more than I actually do. Belize has some incredible excursions with cave tubing, ziplining through the jungle, and visiting ancient Mayan ruins that are all experiences that can make for an amazing day. But the problem is everything else. It's a tender port, so getting ashore takes longer, and once you arrive, the downtown area isn't especially clean or inviting, and all the things you really want to do require a long drive after you're already long tendered ashore. Now, I'll say, if you've got a great excursion planned, Belize can be a fantastic spot. But if you're hoping to just get off the ship and explore on your own, it's my least favorite of the ports on this list. And that's actually one of the reasons I always recommend using a great travel advisor. Because most people spend so much of their time planning their trip, choosing the right cruise ship, that they don't even consider the itinerary, but the ports you visit are just as important. And the right travel advisor will help you find an itinerary with ports you actually enjoy, instead of just booking today's trending ships without even considering the experience beyond it. That's why we Book Through Cruises it. Instead of guessing, you're working with people who actually understand the ships, the itineraries, and how different ports can completely change the entire experience. They've saved us thousands over the years, helped us land better cabins, and kept us from making choices we would have regretted later. And well, you'll never have to second guess whether you got the best price thanks to their low price guarantee. Pair that with a team that actually cares and Cruises, it makes booking simpler, cheaper, and a whole lot less stressful. So click the link in the description below or call the number on the screen and tell them Evan from Family at Sea sent you. You'll be glad you did. Just ahead of Belize is Nassau, Bahamas. Nassau is the busiest cruise port in the entire Caribbean, welcoming more than 30,000 cruise passengers on many days. And you definitely feel it because, well, the crowds are everywhere. And if you've cruised here before, you already know the vendors can be some of the pushiest you'll find anywhere. But what hurts Nassau the most isn't that it's a bad destination, it's that despite being such a massive cruise port, there really isn't the same variety of things to do you'll find in many of the other ports higher on this list. Which means a huge percentage of those thousands of passengers end up competing for the same beaches, same attractions, and same shopping areas. Now, there's still ways to have a great day in Nassau, but often my favorite thing to do there is to simply stay on the ship and enjoy it while it's less crowded. The next stop on my list is Grand Cayman. And this is where the rankings start getting tougher because Grand Cayman is a genuinely beautiful island. 7 Mile Beach is every bit as stunning as you've heard. Stingray City is one of the Caribbean's most iconic excursions. There are plenty of other great things to do. But it isn't perfect. Every cruise visit starts with a long tender ride, and once you get ashore, the arrival area can feel surprisingly industrial and can be confusing to navigate. And on busy days, that whole process can eat up more of your day than I'd really prefer. But even with all those drawbacks, Grand Cayman is still a port I'm always happy to visit once I get past the tender process. It just doesn't quite offer enough to move any higher on my list. Coming in at number 8 is Costa Maya. Costa Maya is one of the most misunderstood ports in the Caribbean. And if you never leave the cruise port, I can understand why some people don't care for it. It's crowded, heavily commercialized, and feels like it was built to separate you from your money. But take a short taxi in a Mahawa, and it's a completely different experience. You'll find a laid-back beachfront lined with restaurants, shops, and beach clubs where you can relax for the day, and you can even get a beachfront massage for $25, which feels like one of the best bargains anywhere in the Caribbean. Now, Costa Maya isn't perfect, but if you're willing to venture beyond the port gates, I think it's a much better destination than many cruisers give it credit for. Landing at number 7 is Cozumel. And this is one of those ports where your experience depends almost entirely on what you decide to do. Stay near the cruise port and you'll find plenty of tourist traps, souvenir shops, and some of the pushiest vendors in the Caribbean. Or you can head to one of the many popular beach clubs, but there's a good chance you're going to run into more big crowds there and, depending on the time of year, quite a bit of sargassum. But, and this is a big but, rent a car and explore the island away from the crowds, or hop on a ferry and head to Playa del Carmen, and Cozumel becomes a completely different destination. The east side of the island is quieter, far more scenic, and feels like the Cozumel most people never get to experience. And that's why Cozumel lands higher on my list than it probably does for many of you, because it has a lot to offer. Most just never experience it. Just missing the top half of my list is St. Thomas. And this is the kind of port that's easy to like. It has some of the most beautiful beaches in the Caribbean, with places like Megan's Bay and Sapphire Beach living up to the hype. And it's also one of the best ports for shopping if that's your thing. But the reason I didn't rank it higher is that beyond the beaches and shopping, there really isn't a huge variety of things to do. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because sometimes a relaxing beach day is exactly what you're looking for. It's just not my personal preference. But if your perfect cruise day is crystal clear water, soft sand, and a frozen drink in your hand, well, St. Thomas is hard to beat. Cracking my top 5 is St. Martin. And this is one of those ports that seems to have a little bit of everything. You can spend the day relaxing at beautiful beaches like Mullet Bay or Orient Bay. You can wander the shops and restaurants in Phillipsburg, or you can head over to Maho Beach to watch airplanes fly just overhead, which is one of the coolest experiences you'll find anywhere in the Caribbean. But the biggest downside there is that everyone else knows it too, as Maho Beach gets incredibly crowded. Beyond that, though, traffic around the island can be miserable for a small island, and some of the most popular beaches can feel packed when multiple ships are in port. Even so, St. Martin is still one of my favorite Caribbean stops, because there's enough variety that I always leave feeling like I could come back and have a completely different day tomorrow. Just missing my top 3 is San Juan, and one of the things I love the most about this port is how you can step off the ship and immediately be in the middle of it all, because there isn't a massive cruise complex separating you from the city. So within minutes, you're wandering colorful streets, trying incredible local food, and browsing shops that feel like they're actually part of the city instead of built just for cruise passengers. And if you want to venture outside of Old San Juan, Puerto Rico has some incredible excursions too, from exploring the rainforest, swimming beneath waterfalls, and even natural rock water slides. So if you enjoy history, culture, great food, and exploring on foot, San Juan is one of the most rewarding ports in the Caribbean. Earning the number 3 spot is Jamaica, and I know this is where some of you, maybe even many of you, are going to disagree with me, because Jamaica has developed a bit of a mixed reputation among cruisers. And a lot of that comes from people feeling uncomfortable with some of the more persistent vendors, or wandering around on their own without much of a plan. But that's also one of the easiest problems to solve. Book with a reputable guide like my buddy Joel over at Marvin's Paradise Tours, and you'll see why we love Jamaica as much as we do. Because whether your ship docks in Falmouth or Ocho Rios, you'll have access to some of my personal favorite excursions anywhere in the Caribbean. You can climb Dunn's River Falls, go cliff diving at Blue Hole, or tubing down the White River, and these are all the kinds of experiences that you'll remember long after the cruise is over. Falmouth is the nicer of the 2 cruise ports in my opinion, while Ocho Rios puts you closer to most of the attractions, but either way, the people are incredibly welcoming, and there's just something about Jamaica that keeps us coming back. Coming in just outside the number 1 spot is Roatan, Honduras. Roatan is one of those ports that just gets so many things right. The beaches are beautiful, the people are some of the friendliest you'll meet anywhere in the Caribbean, and the island has a relaxed, welcoming feel that's hard to describe until you've experienced it yourself. And there's also an incredible variety of things to do. You can spend the day snorkeling or diving on the world's second largest barrier reef, or relax on the beautiful sands of West Bay Beach with restaurants and shops just steps away. You can zip line through the jungle, visit an animal sanctuary, or simply explore the island with a local guide and get a glimpse of everyday life outside the cruise port. But what really sets Roatan apart, though, is how authentic it still feels. It hasn't lost its local character the way we've seen at some of the Caribbean's biggest cruise ports. It kind of just feels like being welcomed into a close friend's home. And now we're down to my favorite port in the Caribbean. Drum roll, please. Coming in at number 1 is Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic. And this port is the complete package. Whether your ship docks at Amber Cove or Tano Bay, you're minutes away from beautiful beaches, colorful streets, incredible food, and some of the most friendly and genuine people you'll meet anywhere in the world. And there are so many great ways to spend the day. You can climb and jump off waterfalls at Damajagua. You can climb and jump off the 27 waterfalls that are so well known here. You can explore the historic downtown, head out on an ATV adventure through the countryside, or even zip line through the forest before spending time with monkeys over at Monkeyland. And if you want to hop in a taxi, a short 30 minutes from the port, you'll find Playa Sosua, where you'll discover one of the Caribbean's most stunning beaches with crystal clear turquoise water that's every bit as beautiful as the islands people usually think of first in the Caribbean. But no matter what kind of cruiser you are, Puerto Plata has something you'll love. And despite becoming one of the Caribbean's fastest growing cruise destinations, Puerto Plata has managed to hold onto the soul that made people fall in love with it in the first place. And that's why it earns my number 1 spot. Because every time I leave, I can't wait to come back. But here's the bad news. Even if you book an amazing itinerary, there's no guarantee you'll love the cruise because every ship and every cruise line offers a completely different experience. The good news? I've already done a lot of the trial and error for you. Last year alone, I took 22 different cruises and I ranked every single one from worst to best, explaining exactly why each one landed where it did. So don't stop here, watch that video next to see which cruises completely exceeded my expectations and which ones I wouldn't book again. I'll see you over there. If you're ready, I am. Let's go.